Hello, Aquano here, and we're back for another Trails in the Sky first chapter guide. And this time, I wanted to make a guide that could be useful to you no matter where you are in the story. I've been making a lot of guides about how to help people get the best builds, get ready to get a lot of resources to get those builds depending on where you are in the game. I made videos for the Bose arc, the Ruan arc, the Zeiss arc. But I know that not everyone is it plays at the same pace or start at the same time, so I wanted to make this video to kind of like help you guys to have you guys orient your builds towards something, no matter where you are in the game. So I present to you guys 10 must-have arts in Trails in the Sky first chapter. Let's get right into it. Here I am in my chapter 1 save, and let's start with an art that might not be so obvious, right? You might not think it is as good as it is just by reading the description. I am talking about the arts, one of the two Mirage arts, Chaos Brand. So there's only two Mirage arts, and for now at least, there will be more in the sequel. And Chaos Brand is absolutely insane. Now, Saint got actually nerfed in this remake. It used to be AoE. Chaos Brand got buffed in this remake. It is absolutely crazy. It used to be really good, just without the buffs. So in the first game, it had like a very high, almost guaranteed chance to confuse the enemies, and it still has that 90%. Confusion is a very, very strong ailment to inflict on the enemies because it makes them attack each other. So you have one less threat to deal with, and you can focus on killing the ones that are not confused. The more enemies you confuse, the more you have enemies on your own side to help you kill the rest. It is very, very good in situations where there are a bunch of enemies. Now, in this remake, like I said, it got buffed. Now it also inflicts poison, and it reduces the defense, the ADF, and the speed by 2 stages. It is absolutely crazy that, like, you know, those are the 3 stats that are like the most important to reduce for most of the time. So because defense and ADF makes you hit harder on them, and speed makes them act less often. Reducing their speed by 2 stages is absolutely bonkers. Now, keep in mind that not all enemies will be as easy to confuse as others. Some of them will have like a triangle when it comes to their status efficacy to confusion. That means they're not that weak to confusion. I would recommend using Chaos Brand only if it shows a circle or a double blue circle when it comes to their status efficacy. Let me show you guys here real quick. So here it is, status efficacy in the help section. Go here, command battle controls, displaying enemy details on the second page. You will see that there's like multiple symbols that show up depending on their status efficacy. Here it says X, triangle, double, circle, or circle. Now, they can be confused if it's a triangle, but the odds are lower, so I would recommend going for Chaos Brand on the enemies only if they have a white circle or a double blue circle. So yes, Chaos Brand, try to have Chaos Brand on at least one party member at all times. So without further ado, let's move on to the next spell. Now, let's talk about an obvious one and what I consider to be the best art in the entire game. Yes, I said it. I definitely think it is the best art in the entire game, and that is Clock Up EX. So every single one of your artscaster, especially later in the game, need to have Clock Up EX. Now, it does require 3 and 3, so it won't be as easy to get this like in the early game, but like as soon as you get to Ruan, like second chapter, even at the end of chapter 1, you should be able to get Clock Up EX on at least one party member. Try to get it on as many party members as you can. Later in the game it will be easier because a lot of quartz will give 3 value. So actually some quartz give Clock Up EX immediately in the end game because they do have 3 time and 3 space value. So yes, why is Clock Up EX the best arts in the game? For, I would say, 2/3 reasons. So, first reason, it increases speed. And now movement, it also increases movement, but we don't really care as much about that. The main reason why is speed. It increases speed by 2 stages. You see it here, double arrow. Here, that means it's 2 stages, 50%. And increasing your speed by 50% is crazy. It means you will play 50% more often. And that's the first reason. The second reason is that it cures every single stat debuff, and having your stat debuffed is very bad. This is one of the best ways to heal it. And the third reason, the main reason why I think this is the best art in the game, is because it has the quick effect here. And here what it means is that the person you use Clock Up EX on acts immediately, no delay. It will say no delay when you use Clock Up EX on someone, and they will act immediately. It is absolutely broken. So what does that mean? That means that when you start the battle, you can just use Clock Up EX on yourself, and you get a second turn. There's no downside to doing that on every single character at the beginning of the battle. So that's why I'm saying Clock Up EX on everyone is pretty good. You don't even need like cast quartz to make you cast more quickly, because as soon as you use Clock Up EX on yourself, you will act immediately. It just clicks. So yeah, make sure to get Clock Up EX on everyone. It is absolutely the best art in the game. On number 3, I want to talk about an art that really helps you survive. So healing is good, but sometimes you don't really want to use your AoE healing because only one of your party members is lacking a bit of HP, but you do want to help your team survive. What do you do then? Well, you give them a shield, and that's when Earthguard becomes really useful. So it only requires 2 Earth and 2 Mirage, like you can see here, and it gives shield S in a large circle. This is 1,000 HP shield to all your party members if they are in that large circle. It is amazing if you are playing someone with a support build and they don't have anything to do in that turn because no one is low HP, no one is status, etc., and everyone is already accelerated with Clock Up EX. So the only thing you can do here is earth guarding them, giving them a shield, because there's nothing else to do. This is a very good thing to slot on your support because it helps you survive. I would say this is a must-have on at least one person. If your support doesn't have Earth Guard, or if your support doesn't have it, your caster definitely should have it, because Earth Guard can help you survive by a lot. Now on number 4, we have something similar but different. So most of you guys might be wondering what is the difference between Earth Guard and Earth Wall. One of them says shield, the other one says invulnerability. What? English is hard. Invulnerability. Is that how you say it? Invulnerability. Whatever the fuck that word says. But basically what that means is that you will be immune to the next instance of damage you will take. Sorry for my English. I have a debuff called being French. So yeah, this requires a bit more elemental value to acquire. 4 Earth, 3 space. Yes, and it costs 240, so you will need some EP cut quartz to make this more sustainable. But yes, this is not really that useful in the early game, but it is an absolute must-have in the late game hard boss battles, because some of those bosses will charge a very big ult attack and do insane AoE. If you just use an Earth Wall before that big damage will be completely nullified. It is an amazing spell. So I know they're very similar, but I put them in different points in this video because they do different things and they are useful in different situations. So yes, let's go to number 5. Now let's talk about a very interesting art that I consider a must-have in the end game, or as soon as you can get it. And I am talking about the only type of offensive arts that are not super effective against any mob, and that is the time arts. And I want to talk about the strongest offensive time art, White Gehenna. So Gehenna is like the hell in the religious lore of Trails. It's not, the word doesn't even come from Trails. I'm pretty sure it means hell in one of the languages. Let me know in the comments if you know. But it does require 5 of both time and mirage, so quite a lot. But you get one of the best offensive arts in the game. So yes, no monster will be weak to it, so that is a bit unfortunate. But it also, it's like a It's a blessing in disguise, because yes, you will not hit anything for super effective, but nothing will resist it, which makes it the most consistent offensive arts in the game. It also has an S modifier, and the main reason why I think, well, second reason why I think this arts is a must-have is that it reduces strength, and a lot of the strong bosses in this game do physical damage, so you really want this. Big AoE reduces strength of everyone. So for example, in chapter 4, you will be entering something I'm not gonna spoil, but you will have to do battles in against like 4 enemies at a time, and this will be very good because most of them do physical damage. There's also boss fights in chapter 2 that have multiple enemies that do physical damage. Same thing for chapter 3. There's a boss fight, if you've already done it, you know what I'm talking about. Multiple enemies that do physical damage in AoE, so White Gehenna always comes clutch in these situations. So yeah, this is like a personal thing. I don't think it's objectively a must-have, but personally, I like always having White Gehenna on at least one character to do a consistent art damage. For number 6, we have a 3-in-1. A 3-in-1 because these 3 arts are kind of like serve the same purpose, and I like to call them the healing kits, the emergency healing kits, because with those 3 arts, you will guarantee that your team stays alive. So, first one is Latira, second one is Lacuria, and third one is Thyllis. I didn't want to put them in 3 different points because, you know, at that point, like, I would just repeat myself for three times, and it's not as different as Earthguard and Earthwall. In this case, you want these 3 arts together on usually the same character to make a healer, a support character, because Latira heals HP, Lacuria heals a bit of HP and removes every single debuff, and Thyllis revives the ally without wasting any revive items, which are kind of rare or expensive. So as soon as you have enough like good quartz to unlock Latira and Lacuria, I would never switch your build in a way that makes you lose these 3. When you're building the support characters, you should always look at these 3 spells. I call them, like I said, the healing kits: Latira, Lacuria, Thyllis. Make sure you always have those in your team at all times. The next art I am going to talk about is Aerostorm. Now, Aerostorm is not really an art that is a must-have at all times, but you need to have the quartz necessary to make a build that can utilize Aerostorm in an offensive way at all times. Why? Because in this game, you will need a lot of Sepith to get the best quartz, especially in the end game. It requires a lot of Sepith to get the quartz 3+, and a lot of people want the best quartz right away. And especially if you're playing on hard or especially nightmare difficulty, you need the best quartz at all time, which means Aerostorm comes in clutch. Now, why is Aerostorm so important to farm Sepith? There's multiple AoE spells, right? I mean, Titanic Roar has a bigger AoE and does also S modifier damage. Same thing for White Gehenna. White Gehenna also does S damage. Now it is smaller, but you know what I mean? Like, why does it have to be Aerostorm? Like, I mean, Spiral Flare does this L Circle S+, you know what I mean? So why is Aerostorm so important for Sepith farming? It's for one main reason, and that is because the Sepith bonus doesn't work the way you think it does. So previously I thought you had to kill enemies with the Sepith bonus to make sure you get the thing, but it's not really that. It's about how the amount of time you hit them with it. So if you get the Sepith bonus and then hit a bunch of people, then you get another Sepith bonus, you hit a bunch of people, you will stack this. It's not about killing them with the Sepith bonus, it's about the amount of hits. And there's a weird, like, non-written mechanic in the game, and it is the amount of hits that one ability does. Here, Aerostorm doesn't say it does multiple instances of damage, but in reality, it does. Same thing, for example, for Joshua's Dual Flicker. Here, Dual Strike, excuse me. Dual Strike, it will do 2 attacks, so 2 instances of damage. So, the game doesn't really say this, but Aerostorm does multiple hits of damage. I don't remember how many, I think it might be 3, but the number doesn't matter. All you need to know is that using Aerostorm with the Sepith bonus will get you an insane amount of Sepith bonus. I'm currently in chapter 4, and I'm using it to get 600 Sepith every time I kill enemies in an AoE. It is very, very quick. I have 5,000 of every Sipith in maybe like 20 minutes. Pretty efficient method. So yes, make sure to always have the means to get Aerostorm on your caster. Usually Olivier, if is available this chapter, or basically any character that has the highest ATS in your chapter. I have a bunch of videos about Sipith farming depending on the chapter you're in, so make sure to check out those in my Trails of the Sky First chapter playlist. At number 8, we have the very, very useful and kind of underrated art Anti-Sept-All. Yes, another time art. That is 3 of them in this list. Anti-Sept-All is very good because it is basically the same as Anti-Sept, but it hits every single enemy in the field. You know, when it says all, that means it covers the entire field. No matter where they are, it will hit them. So this has a 200% chance. That means even if they have some resistance, it will hit them most of the time. Pretty much guaranteed. I mean, it's 200%. So impede and mute. What does that mean? That means if they are charging a spell, it will cancel it, and it will mute them, which means they cannot recast the spell later. After that, it has guaranteed chance to remove any buff the enemy has. And one thing you need to know about this remake is that it introduced a new mechanic. This new mechanic is called Rage Boost, and during Rage Boost, when they enter that state, they will get a bunch of buffs. Like you see here, Josette at the beginning of the game, one of the first boss fights, gets strength, ATS, speed. You really want to remove that ASAP, and with Anti-Sept-All, you can do just that. So make sure to keep Anti-Sept-All at least one character. Early game, if you can't afford to reach that, Anti-Sept works for single targets. If you're in the prologue, just try to get Anti-Sept on Joshua to cast it on the boss when he gets rage. But later on in the game, it is pretty easy to get Anti-Sept-All, so make sure to have it at all times. At number 9 and 10, we have 2 offensive arts that I consider to be very, very useful for 2 different but also similar reasons. First of all, I want to start with Titanic Roar. Titanic Roar is very, very easy to get, namely with the quartz called, where is it here? Golden Shield. Okay, well, in this save, I don't have it because it's pretty early in the game because I didn't want to spoil you guys. But later you will get a quartz called Golden Shield. It'll give 3 Earth, 3 space, which is amazing to get Titanic Roar. You just combine it with Defense 3, you get Titanic Roar or something else. And Titanic Roar is very, very good because it is one of the few, and I'm pretty sure the only like offensive art with an S modifier or more that hits everyone. Why do I mean by that? So every single art has a different kind of range. You see, it either says circle, line, fan, and the circles have different kinds of size. But the Titanic Roar, unlike other ultimate arts like Diamond Dust, Volcanic Rays, or Aerostorm, Plasma Wave, it hits every single person on the field with no exception, kind of like Anti-Sept-All that I just talked about. It has a range of all, which means no matter where they are, it will hit them. It has an S modifier, which is pretty efficient, so you don't even have to worry about where to cast the art. You just give a bunch of ATS to your caster, you just spam Titanic Roar, hit everyone, kill everyone. It also has the very big advantage of lowering the defense, which means you do a bunch of damage to everyone, and at the same time, you will buff your physical damage dealer. If you're using Joshua, this is an amazing combo, because Joshua later gets an S-Craft that also hits all, which means no matter where they are, it hits them, and it does physical damage, which benefits from the defense debuff that Titanic Roar inflicts. So you use your caster, Titanic Roar, and then Joshua Black Fang kills everyone. It is an amazing combo to unleash on your enemies late game. It can be pretty useful in the final dungeon, so keep that in mind. And for number 10, I won't do in transition because it's kind of in the same vein. It is Volcanic Rays. It will allow your magical DPS, your Artcaster, to reach new levels of damage. So first of all, a lot of enemies are weak to fire, and there's gonna be some of them in the final dungeon. And if you've looked at all the arts available, you will see that it is the only art that has double S double S damage modifier. It will do a bunch of damage. It has 90% chance, almost guaranteed chance to inflict burn against big enemies with a bunch of HP. It will be very, very good at burning them down. In hard mode, you will often fight enemies that don't do much damage to you, but have like 40,000 HP. So like it's kind of a hassle to do a bunch of single target damage to them. Volcanic Rays will definitely help with that. So yeah, that was it for our 10th must-have arts in Trails in the Sky first chapter. So yeah, that was my 10 best arts in the game. I consider them to be a must-have. Again, it is a subjective tier list. Please don't be angry at me if I didn't include your favorite art. Just simply share it in the comments to, you know, make this comment section even more helpful to the people watching. So make sure to like and subscribe if you like the video to not miss my future Trails in the Sky first chapter guides. And again, you feel free to check my playlist, because I already made a dozen guides about this game, so they're all over there. I was Aquano, and I'll see you guys in the next guide. Peace!